Israel called back its negotiating team from Qatar, saying talks over a possible Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal are, quote, at a dead end. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blamed Hamas for the stalemate, pledging that Israel will not surrender to what he called delusional demands and vowed to press on with the war. This, of course, comes as Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin met with his Israeli counterpart yesterday. Austin said that Israel has a moral imperative to protect Palestinians and urged Israel to ensure that any military operation in Gaza's southern city of Rafah
maintains that focus.
In Gaza today, the number of civilian casualties is far too high, and the amount of humanitarian aid is far too low. Gaza is suffering a humanitarian catastrophe.
And our Chris Livesay is following the latest on this story from Tel Aviv. Chris, good morning.
Hey, Chanel. Yeah, it was an awkward meeting, you could say, between Austin and his Israeli counterpart. Remember, just a couple of days ago, there was a delegation from Israel sent to Washington by request of President Biden to discuss alternatives to a ground invasion of Rafah. Netanyahu, the prime minister, had just pulled that delegation over this growing division between Israel and the United States. Nevertheless, the Israeli defense minister met with Austin, and Austin had those strong words to say against the death toll and against the shortage of food. But you'll notice he wasn't very specific in assigning blame. And Israel is arguing that it's not their fault. It's Hamas that's hiding behind civilians and also taking their food. And Israel never misses an opportunity to argue that there's never been an army in the history of warfare that's done as much as Israel to limit the loss of civilian life on the other side. Israel, for instance, routinely warns civilians throughout the Gaza Strip before they launch a strike on a specific area, which puts them at a significant strategic disadvantage. And Israel argues this is one of the reasons why the war is taking so long and the fighting continues. But another reason the fighting continues is because ceasefire talks continue to go nowhere. Israel pulled out of the latest talks, as you mentioned, because they had reached a dead end. This is after renewed optimism because Israel had agreed to an American proposal that would have seen hundreds of Palestinian prisoners released from Israel in exchange for 40 Israeli hostages who have been in Hamas captivity for more than 5 months and a 6-week pause in fighting. But Chanel, Hamas refused.
Thank you.